Hi, Kevin Strong with Strong Jacobs and Associates and another video. We do two things very well: credit score improvement and debt reduction. Today's video is about mistakes people make when they're trying to deal with collections. Let's specifically talk about collections that show up on your credit report. Let's take an example that you have a collection on your credit report that's $3,000 and it's been on your credit report for 4 years and you're like, man, I got to do something about it. What do you think I should do, Kevin? I don't think you should do anything. Let me explain something to you that some of you may not be aware of. Your FICO score is just a snapshot of the likelihood of you defaulting within the next 24 months. So activity, negative activity that's beyond 24 months does matter, but it doesn't have that much of an impact in determining what your score is. So if you start to poke the proverbial bear, let's say it's a $2,000 collection account that's 4 years old, then they start to come after you, where if you just would have left it alone for another 3 years, they're required by law to remove it from the credit report. There's also another pitfall is that if you do start to negotiate with them within the statute of limitations, then they have enforcement powers. Statute of limitations is just a fancy term that says if I owe ABC company money, they have up to 6 years in the state of Washington, which is where I live, to collect that debt, to enforce on that debt. If it's beyond the statute of limitations, they can't enforce it, but it still can remain on your credit report. So unless you're in the process of getting an automobile or a home and the lender is requiring you to address that account, I would just leave it alone because as time passes by, it's going to have less and less of an effect on your credit score. Once again, the 24-month period is the sweet spot. So when I start to either negotiate or analyzing clients' credit report, my focus is on that first 24 months because as I begin to remove those items, factually disputing, not making stuff up, factually disputing, using the law to remove items that are inaccurate on my client's credit report, that's going to have the biggest adrenaline shot to their credit score because those things that fall within 24 months, once again, have the biggest impact on making your credit score. So back to the collections. If it's an old collection, leave it alone. If it's a new one, you have to probably address it if you're trying to get, let's say, a house or an automobile. If you get to the point, this is the final tip, and I'll wrap this video up. If you get to the point where you have to address this and you simply don't have the money and then the collection company is unwilling to work with you, I have a sweet, sweet strategy that I use that works about 90% of the time. So I'll share it with you. You get all your debt and you factor your income. And if you truly don't have the money, not lying, but you truly don't have the money, itemize all of that information and do a personal debt affidavit. Take it to a local notary, get that information notarized, send it to the collection company, certified return receipt, because you're going to create a paper trail. And then once they reject your offer to make, let's say, the $30 or $20 payment, now you have something as a matter of record because it's notarized. In the event that that particular account goes to court, you need to show up because 85% of consumers don't show up. Collection companies know that. That's how they get these default judgments on you guys. But if you show up, which you should, you've got paperwork to say, hey, judge, 4 months ago, here's all my debts. Here's my paycheck. I can only pay XYZ per month. I tried to negotiate in good faith and they refused. 95% of the time, the judge is going to honor that payment request that you submitted to the collection company months ago. Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. You're not saying that you don't want to pay the debt. The collection company is just unwilling to accept the payment amount per month. So you haven't drastically reduced the amount. You just need a longer period of time to pay it off. Most judges are highly reasonable when you take that course of action. But if you see yourself going down that road, you got to start doing the proper documentation, sending things certified return receipts so you have a paper trail. So in the event that this becomes a legal matter and you have to represent yourself or seek counsel, you can turn that folder over to that attorney and say, I've done everything in good faith. What can you do for me? So I hope this short video helped you out. when it comes to dealing with collection companies. And once again, this is Kevin Strong with Strong, Jacob and Associates, and we do two things very well: credit score improvement and debt reductions. I'll see you on the next video.